What's going on? Thanks for checking in. It's getting to that time of year. Everybody's looking for that college opportunity. So today we're gonna go over showcases and camps that you need to go to in order to give yourself the best shot at playing the best college baseball you can. This is one you're not gonna wanna miss if you're trying to get recruited, so make sure you stay tuned. Check this one out. First off, I need to mention this. Showcases are to showcase your ability to college coaches, proving to them that you have what it takes to compete and have success at their program. If you take a step back and look at your talents objectively and ask yourself, do I have what it takes to play at this particular college? Is that college coach going to like my 60-yard dash? Are they going to like the way I throw the ball? Are they going to like the way I hit the ball? If you pay $500 to go to an LSU showcase as a right-handed pitcher and you're only throwing 80 miles an hour, odds are you're wasting your parents $500. You have to learn to take that step back, look at yourself objectively, because the last thing you want to do is show up to, a big-time program, a Power 5 school, and run a terrible 60-yard dash, throw 60 miles an hour, and hit a ball, 60 miles an hour. That's the last thing you want to do. You want to make sure that your talent can get you to that university. The biggest term that I hate is being realistic. If I was realistic when I was going through my recruiting process, there's no way I would have ended up with a Division I scholarship, from a small town in Pennsylvania. Me personally, I was the only Division I guy to ever come out of my high school in the history of its baseball program. Everybody was telling me to be realistic. Good thing I didn't listen to them. So we'll call it feel. You have to have some sort of feel. If you want to play D1 baseball, but you lack the ability, and your ultimate goal is to play at that highest level, you need to figure it out, get on some sort of program to develop in those attributes that are going to get you there. A good rule of thumb, if you're a pitcher, got to hit 90 mile an hour. Figure it out. Figure out a way to throw 90 mile an hour off the mound. That's going to give you your best shot. If you're an elite level runner, try to get your 60 under that sub 7, right? Those are all going to give you a rite of passage into one of these premier programs. And bat speed, right? If you want to play Division I level, you need to set a goal. I'm trying to hit balls 100 miles an hour. If you can't do at least one of these key attributes, you're going to have a hard time getting that opportunity at that highest level of college baseball. If you don't have the ability it takes to play at the level that you've dreamed of, I'm not trying to be a salesman here, but you need to get on a good program, and we have one. It's called a Showcase Prep program. It's going to decrease your 60-yard dash, increase your exit velo, increase your throwing velocity. This is a perfect program to get on, 14 weeks prior to a big showcase you're about to attend. Okay, so once you have the ability to showcase, how do you know which showcases to attend? You have to keep in mind and remember that these showcase or camps are a double-edged sword. These schools and these big organizations are making money off you. At most of these universities, that's how that school pays the assistant coach, is inviting all these kids out to their showcase camp, getting the money, and then using that money for funding for, a second, a third, or even a fourth assistant coach. So that coach's salary that particular year is based off kids signing up and paying for that camp. So I hate to say it, don't think you're all that special when you get a generic email saying, congratulations, you're invited to our camp, and then you read the fine print and it's going to cost your parents $500 to sign you up. But the other side to that is if you attend one of those camps and put on a show, all the coaches of that university are going to be there watching you, assessing you, and can decide, hey, maybe this guy's got what it takes to play here. So it's a double-edged sword in that sort, right? You're paying money to go there, but you do have the possibility of getting recruited by that university. That's where it takes. You got to sit back, look at your talents objectively, and say, hey, do I truly have what it takes? Now, the biggest rackets or scams are these big organizational showcases, the ones promising 100-plus Division I scouts. They're inviting every kid throughout the country, right? And you got to pay $1,000 to attend these showcases. I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but a lot of these big organizations are paying those coaches to show a face there, just so they can say, hey, I got the Florida coach here. They're giving kickback to that coach just to make an appearance, to make it look like he's recruiting guys out of that camp. And a lot of the times you'll show up to these camps and there'll be 500 kids there. So the work that you get is maybe 2 ground balls, 3 to 5 swings. So it's impossible to stand out in that environment. So ultimately, picking the right showcase for you that isn't a racket, that isn't a scam, that's going to give you your best shot to play college baseball is pretty difficult. So I'm going to share with you the ones that are going to be your best bet. Number one is if that coach reaches out to you personally, whether it be a text, a call, an email, and invites you to the camp and waives the initiation fee. So you say, hey, I got a text from, say, Florida's coach, right? He's saying, hey, little Johnny, we really like what we see out of you. We have a camp coming up. We're going to waive that initiation fee for you to come get work in and let our coaching staff evaluate you. This is a gold sign. You got to go to that camp. They're not making any money off you, right? So the main goal is for them to evaluate you because they have you on the whiteboard at their office that you can be a potential scholarship guy, or they're potentially going to give you an opportunity at that program. So if that coach reaches out to you personally, waives that fee, that's a showcase you need to go to. A second option of showcase that you should go to is if a coach reaches out to you, letting you know that he'll be there. So this is the way to go to maybe an organizational showcase, is if a coach reaches out to you, text you, call, email, and say, hey, little Johnny, we don't have a camp at our own university coming up. It's getting too late in the recruiting process. Whatever it may be, saying, hey, I'm going to be at Vero Beach's showcase camp. Maybe it's run by Perfect Game. Okay, I'm going to be there. I'm wondering if you'll be there so I can evaluate you. That's a good sign. It's not as good as the first one where it's a smaller showcase, but it still is a good sign that that coach knows who you are and is personally inviting you, because that means he's going to show up with his clipboard and you're going to be circled at the top of his list. He makes sure he comes over and watches the reps that you do get. So that's another opportunity, and that's another showcase that I believe you should attend. Number 3, bet on yourself. Pick a university you want to get to. Do everything possible to work yourself, get yourself an opportunity. A quick story, I grew up in Pennsylvania. My goal was to go to Penn State University my entire life. Okay, so I made sure that I attended those camps. They had no idea who I was, but I would sign up for every single Penn State University camp, and I built rapport with the coaches. They kept seeing me again. They kept seeing me again. They kept seeing me again. Ultimately, they never gave me an opportunity, but through that, I was able to get other opportunities. A coach left Penn State, went to a different school, threw my name in a bubble, and I was able to still get a Division I scholarship. Only because I was able to build a relationship with Penn State's coaching staff, because I went to every single camp that they had. So say your goal growing up, you grew up in, Tampa. Your goal was going to University of South Florida. I want to go to USF, do everything I can. You can bet on yourself, make sure you attend every USF baseball camp, make sure every coach on that staff knows exactly who you are, and then have that talent to back you up and eventually earn yourself an opportunity with that program. I've seen it before. Okay, now that you signed up for a showcase, how are you going to stand out? I've been to showcases when I was going through the recruiting process with 100+ kids there, right? How do you stand out? And the only way is to either run an elite level 60, hit balls farther than anybody else there, or, throw the absolute shit out of the ball. That's the only way to stand out in a big crowd like that. So if you get 8 pitches in BP, you better try to hit those balls as far as you can, right? You only get 15 pitches on the mound, you better be able to throw those balls as hard as you can. And if you're an elite level 60 runner, make sure you run your best time. Another big thing to think about is what I would do at a showcase. This got me a Division I opportunity. I knew my 60-yard dash sucked. I was super slow, and I was an outfielder. So I had to try to manipulate the system a little bit. Not recommending this for everybody to do, but this is what I did, and it worked for me. I just completely skipped out on the 60. I made something up, man. I was like, hey, my hamstring hurts. I don't want to, ruin it because I still have to swing. There's a lot of kids there, they're not going to care. Don't jot down a bad time, right? A lot of guys will go to showcases, run a poor 60, then that scout that showed up to look at them would cross your name right off the list. It's an easy way out. However, it's going to keep your name in the pool when that coach is watching you during BP and then during your positional throws. So that's just a cool way to hack the system, maybe give yourself an opportunity. But you know, all else fails, you need to run an elite level 60. Go ahead and check out my video on how to instantly run a better 60. It's gonna be right up here. Also, you can go ahead and get that showcase preparation course in the description below. You know, like I said, not trying to be a salesman at all, but this program is proven, this program works. If you don't have the ability it takes to play at the highest level of baseball or the baseball that you want to play at, get yourself on a solid program to build your ability to show to those college coaches that you have what it takes. Again, you can get that in the description below. Also, always remember that I pump out 2 of these videos per week, so do me a favor and subscribe. I appreciate you. We'll catch you next week. Game rewards the grind. It knows how much you've invested.